just speak to Mr. Stemela behind you, Mr. Noche, to find out what's the latest?
Chair, I'm informed that it will take about 10 to 15 minutes.
10 to 15 minutes?
Yes, but for me, it's, the lighting is fine, I can read and,
Yes,
yeah. I'm not certain about,
yeah. I think there is a further message coming to you. Yeah.
Chairperson, I'm told that if you can read, I can read, and the witness can read, the cameras will be able to roll until tea time, then they can sort it out. So they say we can proceed if the
Yeah.
participants can read.
Okay. Okay, no, that's fine. So it won't affect TV or this lightning.
It seems as if it won't. They say the
Yes.
camera will roll.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's start.
Chairperson, before we get to the witness, today was scheduled for two witnesses.
Yes.
It was scheduled for two witnesses, Mr. Cedric Frolic, and the witness will testify, Mr. Charl le Roux. Unhappily, Mr. Frolic is physically indisposed and is unable to attend. With your leave, can then his testimony be postponed sine die, and then we'll arrange another date for his testimony?
Okay. Today and this week, I was going to hear evidence for at least, I think, 2 or 3 days relating to Bosasa. Mr. Cedric Frolic had applied for leave to adduce, to give evidence and to deal with the allegations made against him by Mr. Agrizi in relation to Bosasa, and the arrangements had been made that he would come today, but as Mr. Noche indicates, he is apparently unwell and will have to adjourn the hearing of his evidence to a date to be determined by the chairperson in due course. So the hearing of Mr. Frolic's evidence is therefore adjourned. But the evidence that I will hear from another witness also relates to Bosasa. Do you want to take it from there, Mr. Noche, just to give the context? Yeah.
Chairperson, today, the witness who is scheduled to testify is Mr. Charl le Roux. The genesis of his evidence is the evidence of Mr. Agrizi. And in the statement given by Mr. Agrizi, paragraph 22 of Mr. Agrizi's statement, he refers to repairs.
Maybe you can, if you refer to a paragraph, you can indicate what that statement of Agrizi is, what date it was given, because he gave a few
Yes.
Affidavits, just for the record, so that whoever reads the transcript knows how to identify the one that you are referring to.
Yes. The person is the statement of Mr. Agrizi. I just want to get to it's AA, the exhibit AA004. That is the first statement that he gave.
What is the date?
Give the chairperson.
Or is that the exhibit number?
That's the exhibit number.
Yeah, AA,
It's AA. It's AA, and then it starts at AA01, but the statement is given the number AA, exhibit AA.
AA, okay.
Yes.
Uh,
But then what will help, the AAs will help, because I can then take the chairperson to the relevant paragraph.
Or you don't have the last page of the affidavit?
Let me get to the last page of
Yeah,
the
because that will
affidavit
have
as
the
well.
date when he deposed to the affidavit.
Yes. The affidavit, Chairperson, is dated the 15th of January 2019.
Okay. Yes, then you can go to the paragraph
Then
at
the
least.
paragraphs.
At least the reader of the transcript will be able
To follow, yes.
to identify which affidavit of
Yes.
Mr. Agris we are talking about.
Yes. It's, the relevant part of Mr. Agri's statement is paragraph 22 and page AA 036 of the exhibit. That is the genesis. There, Chairperson, one will see that it's given a specific heading of Nomvula Mokonyane. And in that paragraph, he then deals with amongst other things, the repairs that were done at the house of Mrs. Mokonyane. And thereafter, there's Mr. Richard le Roux. Mr. Richard le Roux's statement also refers to let me just take you to it. It's T3, the evidence, the statement of Richard le Roux, wherein he also refers to the repairs that were done at the house of Ms. Mokonyane.
Okay.
And
Where is Mr. Agris' statement and everything? I'd asked that I should have it with me.
Chairperson, is printed, there was a problem with the office printer. Unfortunately, we found a printer.
Yes.
It's being printed as we speak.
Oh, okay.
What we have done, we have printed 3 statements.
Yes.
There is the statement I've referred to.
Yeah.
Then there's a supplementary statement after he testified.
Yeah.
There were issues that you raised and that
Yeah.
were raised during the hearing.
Yeah.
He made a supplementary statement.
Yeah.
And also there was a statement in response to Ms. Mokanyane's statement,
Yeah.
wherein he deals with those. Those will be presented shortly,
Yes, okay, including Ms. Mukonyana's affidavit.
including Ms. Mokanyane's affidavit.
Yeah, okay.
And then, Chair, this morning, as a result, yesterday, by arrangement with the legal representatives of Ms. Mokonyane, we visited her home, and the only purpose for the visit,
Or maybe before we get there, let me just give the context as I recall it from the evidence and affidavits of Mr. Agris and the affidavit of Ms. Mukonyane. Mr. Agris gave evidence last year implicating a number of people, including some politicians and among other things, he testified that while he was at Bosasa, there were a number of people who were given monthly payments by Bosasa, and he said Ms. Nomvula Mokonyane was one of them, and also evidence was led by him as well as Mr. Charl le Roux to the effect that there was a project within Bosasa, I can't remember what they called it, in terms of which Bosasa installed CCTV cameras and other security equipment at the homes of certain people. And he mentioned Ms. Mokonyane's home as one of that is Mr. Akriz and Mr. Charl le Roux, I think, mentioned Ms. Mokonyane's home as one of the homes of certain people in which Bosasa installed certain security equipment. And Mr. Akrizi also gave evidence to the effect that he visited Ms. Mokonyane's residence. It may be that he said different residences. He went to both residences, that the official residence and the personal residence. And he said on one occasion, he went to Ms. Mokonyane's residence together with Mr. Gavin Watson, and they met with Ms. Mokonyane, and he said, I think it said it was on that occasion that Mr. Watson had brought money for Ms. Mokonyane, which was given to Ms. Mokonyane or was left on the chair in the house. I can't remember the details. And there was also evidence by Mr. Grizi that I think there were deliveries that were sent to Ms. Mokonyane from Bosasa of groceries on a number of occasions. The commission asked Ms. Mokonyane to depose to an affidavit and deal with these allegations, and she cooperated and she submitted an affidavit in which she gives her side of the story. My recollection is that she denied that Bosasa was paying her or had paid her any money as alleged by Mr. Grizi, and she also said that Mr. Grizi had never been to her house, if I recall correctly. And the commission then continued to make investigations arising out of Ms. Mokonyane's denial, and the evidence that will be led today by Mr. Charl le Roux relates to the further investigation conducted by the commission, and Mr. Noche will also talk about a visit to Ms. Mokonyane's residence yesterday, where her lawyers were present. And as I understand the position, there was much cooperation from Ms. Mokonyane and her lawyers in regard to the investigation and the visit to her home yesterday. Mr. Noche. I thought, let me just put that myself because you are new in the commission
Yes.
and I have been around, so I can remember some of these things because the affidavits are not here yet.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's just important so that everybody who listens to the evidence that is led today can remember the context.
Yes.
What is this evidence about?
No,
Okay.
thank you, Chair. As Chair has recalled, the project regarding Ms. Mukonyane was called Project Blowback.
Yes,
And I
okay.
think it's because of the house is in Blowback.
Yes.
And Chair,
There was I think there was a general name for the project of installing security equipment at the residences of different people, but it may be that they called it according to each person, like Project Blowback or Project Plaza or Project something else.
Chair, the way I understand Mr. Agrees' evidence, the whole
Yes.
issue of repairs and all that generally was called Project Shifton.
Okay,
But then there were sub-projects under it
okay,
of different residences.
okay,
And then
okay.
the one in Blowback, it was
Yeah.
called Project Blowback.
Blowback,
Yes.
okay, no, that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the assistance you gave me. Chair, before the witness starts testifying, yesterday, and by agreement between us for the commission and the legal representatives of Ms. Mukonyane, we met at Ms. Mukonyane's house, and the purpose was to confirm the features that were identified by and mentioned by Mr. Le Roux in his statement that you saw when you went to do some repairs at Ms. Mukonyane's house.
Or
At the-
actually, rather than to confirm, to see whether they are there.
To see whether they are there.
Yeah, yes.
And then, Chair, at the end of the inspection, we then sat down and recorded what had been, what we had seen and pointed out by Mr. Charl le Roux. And with your leave and by agreement between the parties, I beg leave to read this into the record.
Yes, okay.
And Chair, I understand it is also in your bundle, Exhibit T13, and it's on page,
I'm sorry, just repeat that, I missed that.
and this statement, this memorandum of agreement, it should be in the Chair's bundle as well, in the Commission bundle, Exhibit 13, T13,
T13,
yes.
okay, okay, maybe what we'll do, I know that I think I have confused some of the members of the legal team. Shall we call this bundle something that is the Liver Act file and Mr. Charl le Roux' statement, Exhibit 13 and its annexures? Is that fine if we do it that way?
What we have here is, it's named Exhibit T13.
Yes, no, what I'm saying is, excuse me, shall we say Exhibit T13 is Mr. Charl le Roux' affidavit
Yes.
and annexures, but the box, we call it bundles, we give it a bundle number or bundle, a letter bundle, something. So that it's clear that the exhibit is not the box.
Oh, I
It's
see.
the affidavit, that's the exhibit.
Chair, can I just confer with my
Yeah.
junior?
alternative.
Chairperson is,
Yes.
I'm advised that we will, after I've handed up the exhibit, I mean, the formally handed up to you, the exhibit 13 I'm referring to, we will then give it a bundle number, which will be bundle A.
Yes, no, that's fine. And if, you know, there are different bundles that have been used. I know that certainly under the PRASA work stream, I think they have been probably through with my influence, handing up these liver arch files as bundle B or bundle whatever, and then the affidavits inside would be exhibit this, exhibit that, and exhibit that. But if what is most important for now is the exhibit for the affidavit, the bundle number or bundle letter, bundle A or whatever, that's for convenience, and that can be attended to even later.
No,
That does not have to go into the record as such, but it's convenient if everybody knows that you will find exhibit 13 in bundle, so and so.
So I understand. I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah.
Chairperson, we'll attend to that.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
Before we adjourn today, I will have attended to it so that
Yes.
it also goes to the record.
To the
as
record,
Where
yes.
one will find the bundle.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Chair, before I,
So maybe let me get this out of the way. Excuse me. You see, I see that there's an affidavit also of 1 billion. So that will have to have a separate or exhibit number. So the one that will be T13 is that of Mr. Charl le Roux.
yes,
So, but we can deal with that if and when we come to it.
yes,
The one for 1 billion.
10 billion.
So the affidavit of Mr. Charl le Roux, Charles Jacques le Roux, is admitted and is to be marked exhibit T13, 13,
As the chairperson pleases.
together with its annexures.
As the chairperson pleases. Chair, with your leave and your guidance, the memorandum or the minute of yesterday's inspection does not form part of the affidavit of Mr. le Roux. Should it have a separate exhibit number?
Yes, it should have a separate exhibit number, but maybe the best time to hand it up might be at the end of his evidence. I don't know what you think about that.
Chairperson, that is also fine.
Yes,
Because
so
he would
you'll
have
take him-
testified.
Yeah, he will have testified, and then you will say, here is an agreement that was signed after the visit, at the end of the visit.
Can I then move to, and then Chair, also, what I had, but we can deal with it after he has testified. Because he was employed by Mr. Van Billion. So I was planning, but we can do it the other way around. I was planning first to deal with sorry, Chair. I was planning to deal with the evidence and read into the record the affidavit of Mr. Van Billion. But Chair, it doesn't matter. Let the witness testify, and then
Yes.
and then we'll deal with the other issues thereafter.
Yes, it depends on what sequence you want. I don't mind if you refer to, well, to the affidavit of Mr. Van Billion. It does seem to me that to the extent that agreement has been reached on things that were seen in Ms. Mokonyana's residence, it may be that her affidavit or his affidavit, Mr. Van Billion, will not be challenged. So I think we can get it admitted as an exhibit, and you can read the relevant portions thereof. If later on they challenge it, we will look at that. You, as I understand the position, Mr. Van Billion left South Africa
Yes, sir.
last year, I think.
Yes,
He
sir.
now lives in New Zealand.
Yes, Chair.
So calling him may not be necessary if a lot of what he says is not being challenged.
Yes, sir.
But also if it's covered by what Mr. Charl le Roux says, it might not be necessary to call him,
Yes.
but the affidavit could be taken up. Obviously, Ms. Mokonyane and her lawyers will be free to challenge whatever they wish to challenge.
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, okay.
Chair, the affidavit of Mr. Van Billion, you'll find it is in two places in T13. And it's on T13,
Remember, when you say T13, you talk about Mr. Charl le Roux's affidavit.
yes. Chair,
So
that's his,
we better give it an exhibit of its own, a number of its own, if we
Chair,
are going to refer
can
to
I,
it
with
now.
your leave, can I make this proposal? And so that this is formally changed, can I leave for now the affidavit of Mr. Van Billion until we've given it a
That's fine, yeah.
separate,
That's fine.
number, so that when I read
Yes,
it,
yes.
because I understand, Chair, it will cause a confusion if
Yes,
I talk
yes.
about T13 later on, it's admitted
Yes,
as
yes.
another,
Yes, but what can be done is that different exhibits, namely different affidavits, can be in the same lever art file. What is important is to always identify the correct exhibit number for the correct
Yes,
affidavit.
yes.
So it could still remain here if we know, for example, if we mark it as exhibit T14,
yes,
then when you refer to it, you say, I'm referring to exhibit T14, you
Yes.
know, then we can still use it. Later on, you'll mark the lever art file as bundle, whatever, and in the spine, on the spine of the lever art file,
Yes.
it becomes, you make it clear that the contents are exhibit T13 and exhibit T14. So whoever picks up the lever art file
Knows
knows
what-
that the contents are these two exhibits.
Yes.
And there is an index that will show where to find each one of those
Yes.
exhibits. So in other words, I'm saying, it's up to you. We can still deal with Mr. Van Billion's affidavit now, but we would need to give it an exhibit number first. If you are able to give it an exhibit number now, but if you can't give it the exhibit number now, then we can deal with it later when you are ready to give it an exhibit number.
Chair, with your leave, can we then be recorded that Mr. Van Billion's affidavit will be T14?
Okay.
It starts, Chair, on the bundle you have, it will start at CLR 18.
Okay.
It will start from page 18.
Mr. Reina van Billion's affidavit will be admitted and marked as exhibit T14.
Yes,
That is the affidavit and its annexures.
yes.
Okay.
That on T14, page 38, CR 38, is the commissioned statement. CLR 38.
Okay, you wanted me to go to page 38.
Yes, Judge. I'm just indicating that the commissioned, and I want it to be on record that the commissioned statement starts from 38 to 42, because before that, it's a mere statement that has been signed, but it was not commissioned. It had to be signed back to have it commissioned, properly commissioned.
Or you know what we must do? Are they not identical, the statement and the affidavit?
They are identical.
So why do we need the statement? Why don't we just have the affidavit?
As the chair pleases.
If they are identical, I guess because we have now given, you have now paginated them all, it could cause some convenience. Then we should rather simply say the statement as opposed to affidavit is the one that is Exhibit T14. I don't know whether the statement had annexures.
The statement has annexures.
Yeah, so the statement of Mr. Rainier, R-E-N-I-E-R, Van Billion, Billion is B-I-L-J-O-N. His statement dated it is undated.
It's an undated statement.
The undated statement, together with its annexures, will be Exhibit T14. And his affidavit will be admitted and marked Exhibit T15. So I'm correcting what I said earlier on. I said earlier on the affidavit of Mr. Rainier van Billion would be admitted and marked as Exhibit T14. I'm changing that. Exhibit T14 is his statement. Exhibit T15 is his affidavit, and the affidavit is dated or was deposed to on the 2nd of July, 2020. So that is together with its annexures. That will be Exhibit T14.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chair, it's a short affidavit that I can quickly read into the record.
Yes.
And I start reading it. It's I, the undersigned, Rainier van Billion, do
Okay, I'll tell you what. I don't think you should read it into the record as such, but if you want to read a particular portion of it, yeah, you can do that. Otherwise, you can just say what the gist of his evidence or the thrust of his evidence in that affidavit is, because it is available as an affidavit.
The chairperson, he merely refers to what is relevant for today is his reference to the work done at Ms. Mokonyane's house. And that appears on page T15 CLR 39, paragraph 6 of the affidavit.
Yes, I think his evidence on the affidavit is briefly that he is a qualified electrician, and that in 2015 he owned a company. What is his company called?
Just bear with me.
He owned a company which used to get work from Bosasa. Bosasa would subcontract it to do certain work for Bosasa, and this seems to have started when he attended a call out in 2015 at Mr. Akrizi's home, and he used to work with or get instructions from Mr. Charl le Roux from Bosasa. Well, maybe I was wrong to restrict you, Mr. Noche, to not reading. Can I leave it to you if you want to read?
The, Chairperson, I think paragraph 6 just gives the context, and then paragraph 7 then deals with the work of where the witness did some work. Can I just quickly read that paragraph 6? And it says, to my knowledge, I was doing the work for Bosasa as a subcontractor, and the usual manner in which we operated were as follows. And Mr. Le Roux would inform me of an address where services were to be provided, and I would meet him on the site. I would evaluate the work to be done and then quote Bosasa for this work, stipulating the items required, such as CCTV fittings and the like. I would not stipulate the residential address on the quotation, but would simply refer to Bosasa on quotation. For example, if the pumps for the water features had to be changed at a residence, the heading of the quotation would merely state water feature pump. As a freelance electrician, I subcontracted, and it was normal for me to quote by simply placing water pump replace as the wording of the quote and invoice. These were never high-value jobs. In certain instances, I would purchase spares or equipment in order to effect the repairs, and in other instances, Bosasa would purchase the items and provide these to me. I would then commence with the work and invoice Bosasa after completion. All the quotations and invoices were made out to either Bosasa, cash, and/or Richard. There was normally no mention of the address where the work was provided on the quotation or invoice. I recall this as I had to redo certain quotations and invoices, making sure that there was no mention of the address. These instructions were given to me by Mr. Le Roux. So the reference here with Mr. Le Roux so far is Richard Le Roux, not the witness. I would email the quotations and invoices to Mr. Le Roux, who would then arrange for payment into my account. And then the heading, work performed at Minister Mukwanyene's residence. Paragraph 7. I recall that I performed work at house number 105 Blowback Street, Krugersdorp. The Commission's investigation team has provided me with... Chair, can I continue?
Thinking of, I think the residential address, don't mention it, don't read it into the record, just mention that the address is given for security reasons.
That's fine, no, I understand, I understand. No, from now onwards, although it's all go on the record, I won't mention it on reading it.
Yes, yeah.
And then he says he was given the annexure by the investigators, he was given annexure RVB1. RVB1 will be page 23 of the bundle. And then he says...
Well, I'm just thinking about the issue. Well, one is trying to be sensitive to security issues. But this witness, for example, needed to specify in his affidavit what the address was, just like Mr. Billion needed to specify because there was a denial that Bosasa had
gone to the residence.
yeah, so that there was a need to do that. So that made it necessary so that they indicate that they know what residents they were talking about. But maybe even when he gives evidence, we all now know which residence he is talking about. Maybe he could say that it's the residence given in his affidavit without mentioning the street number and so on.
Yes.
I'm just trying to see how one strikes a balance between.
The Chair, the way I see it, especially with yesterday, which makes we now know the premises that we visited.
Yes, there's
So-
no need to.
So the witness, when
Yeah.
he testifies,
Yeah.
we'll advise him just to refer, if he wants
the
to the
residence.
house residence that we visited.
Yeah,
And,
okay.
and if that residence, we
Yes.
know the residence
Yes,
is,
yeah,
we have agreed
yeah,
that
yeah.
this is the residence we visited.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And as I understand the Chair, it's all done for the purpose of security.
Yes,
So that one
yes,
does
yes.
not expose
Yes, yeah,
the people to
Yeah.
unnecessary insecurity.
yes, yeah, okay.
And then, Chair, on page 23, Mr. Van Billion tells the commission that he was shown photographs, and on page 23 and 24, he confirms.
I'm sorry, I was at page 40 when I thought you were at page 40. I'm not referring to CLR, but page 40 when I thought you interrupted you. I thought you were
Yes,
at paragraph 8.
paragraph 8, yes.
Uh-huh.
No, so I beg
You are
your
going to
pardon.
the annexures.
I beg your pardon. What I had done is I had remained with the statement instead of moving to the affidavit. I was reading from the, no, which is
But then
fine.
go to the affidavit because
Yes,
that's
I've gone back to the affidavit.
yeah.
Now, he confirms that the photographs he was sent to him is the photograph of the house that we visited. And then he confirmed that in addition, he was also provided with the deeds office document of that address, and there is a deeds registry extract which gives the owners of the residence as Mr. and Mrs. Mukwenyana, and on the affidavit and on the document, their names and ID documents are there, and with your leave, I wouldn't read them onto the record, but they are there. And then he says, he was informed that Nomvula Mukwenyana was a minister of parliament.
I'm quite happy for you to read as you were reading.
He says, okay, I've been informed by, I'm now on paragraph 10, Chair.
Yeah,
I've been informed by the Commission's investigating team that Nomvula Paula Mukwenyana was a Minister of Parliament in the South African government. I've checked in open source media where it is reported that Serge Mukwenyana was the husband of Ms. Nomvula and died in April 2019. At the time, I was unaware that the house in Blowback Street belonged to or was occupied by Minister Mukwenyana. The fact that there were 2 police officers at the main gate obviously alerted me to the fact that it was occupied by someone important. On one occasion, I was called to the house one evening to attend to the backup power system. Then the generator system would not start and met Serge. He was a friendly guy, but he did not mention his surname and did not mention his wife's position. On most occasions, Mr. Le Roux met me on site at 105 Blowback Street, and he showed me what needed to be done. I think in all of the time that I did work at this site, there was possibly 2 occasions where I went to the Blowback site without Mr. Le Roux being present. Then below is a list of some of the things I recalled doing at the house, and then repaired and reprogrammed the generator changeover, replaced the distribution board for the swimming pool, replaced the outside stair lights leading to the house, repaired the electric fence, called out to repair the air conditioning system one night, called out to repair the generator one night, and replaced and rewired some of the water features. I would estimate that I went to the site to perform work there on approximately 10 occasions. I've searched for and located certain quotations and invoices for work performed the invoices.
Yes, I think you can just read that as well, because there is some significance, because it gives details of what work was done, and it
Yes.
gives the prices as well.
Yes. So is the first invoice is,
And it gives dates for
Yes,
when the work was done.
the first invoice is, is quoted as 3232UE, and seems to be the 9th of October 2014, and the invoice quotation made to Cash Richard. And then type of work done, inspect generator alternator, and 750 rand. And the second invoice is 232 invoice, 15 October 2014, Cash Richard. Generator is tested and is 100% operational. A separate test report will be mailed and is 750 rand. And then another 323 and 10th of October 2014, Cash Richard, replaced pool DB at 2,999 rand 23 cents. The next invoice is 232 and 15 October 2014, Cash Richard, replaced pool DB as 2,741 rand 89 cents. And then the next invoice is 161, repairs to lightning, then repair, and then inverted commas, labor normal time blowback, and it's 6,609 rand. And then another invoice, 195, 3rd May 2015, Blowback Street. The extract lights at Blowback is 1,144 rand 70 cents.
I think you
And
can
he
read
makes
that
it-
noting at the bottom there of the
He make-
table.
Yeah, he makes a note, Chair. He says, documents saved on my system as Q324, QUE, and 241 invoice. However, the documents refer to 323 QUE and 323 invoice, which appears to be an administrative error. He goes on to say, copies of these quotations and invoices are attached here to as annexures RB3, and it must be noted that certain of these may not have been the final documents sent out to Mr. Le Roux. With regards to invoice dated 15 October 2014, in the table above, where it is stated generator has been tested and is 100% operational, I also managed to locate a copy of the generator test report, which is annexed as attached here to as annexure RVB4. The generator test report reflects the address as being, and then it gives the address and the date of inspection, 10/15/2014. Chair, I think there is the American system of putting the month before the date. I think it's the 15th.
Oh, yes,
It's the
okay,
15th, yes.
yes. We can say that the address that he gives there of the house is the
It's the house we
address,
vi-
is the
that was
address
visited.
that you visited.
Yes.
Yes,
Chair, to complete his affidavit, he says, I performed services for Bosasa under Mr. Le Roux for approximately mid-2014 to 2018. Over these years, I estimate that I performed services at approximately 4 sites. I recall that I performed work at Mr. Gavin Watson's house where I replaced certain plug points. Mr. Watson arrived whilst I was on site and introduced himself to me. I no longer have the business and have since immigrated. I do not have documentation reflecting the detail of all the work. I performed, and I cannot remember every job I performed. It's a sworn statement. Chair, my junior has referred me to, there's an issue you raised, Chair, of the name of the business.
Does it not?
On 3.2 of the affidavit,
Paragraph 3.2.
the 3.2.
Yes.
On page 38, it's Sanimo Electrical.
Oh, yes, yes. Yes.
I
I'm
apologize, Chair. I also had read it, but with the blood ringing in my ears and my eyes, I couldn't recall where the name and where I had found it in the affidavit.
Yes.
Yes. Chair,
I'm
can
look-
I beg leave to have
I'm looking for RVB4. Where is RBV4? I can't see an annexure marked RV.
Will you just bear with
Before.
Chair, can I also explain what the problem also we have is, Chair, you will not, just bear with me. Just bear 1 minute with me.
You see, at page 43, the Commissioner of Oaths says, this is the document marked A, referred to in the affidavit of Rainer van Valion, but I don't remember that.
What the New Zealanders did, Chair, is they didn't give the annexures the number that is in the affidavit. For instance, all the invoices, instead of RB, they gave them numbers A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then, but if the statement that he has signed, maintains the numbers that we had given, but these were then, the Commission of Oaths then gave them a different number.
Can you arrange that we get a supplementary affidavit from him that clarifies the position to say the document marked so and so by the Commission of Oaths is actually the document I refer to as so and so in my affidavit?
Yes. Actually, Chair, I would also arrange, would also see if you cannot get to the same Commission of Oaths who can confirm the documents. And then, Chair, can I take you to T14, CR 37, I beg your pardon.
Yeah. Yes.
There, Chair, you will see this is the test, the generator test report that he refers to, but it's left out in the affidavit. Perhaps the supplementary affidavit will deal with that as well.
Yeah, so I just want to make sure that there is consistency between what the affidavit says and
And
what
the-
the annexures
yes.
are marked. Yeah, what they are marked as. Because if the affidavit says a certain document is marked RVB4, and you go to the annexures, you don't find RVB4, you are entitled to think that there is no RVB4.
I take your point, Chair.
So we just need to make sure that that is sorted out.
I take your point, Chair.
Yeah, okay.
So with your leave, can the statement and the statement and then the affidavit be admitted as exhibits T14 and T15? And then the chair, can the record then also reflect that an additional affidavit is sought to align what is said in the affidavit with the exhibits that the
Yes,
witness
we
is
have
referring to?
already admitted them, exhibit T14 and exhibit T15, I think, or have we not?
No, I think
have
we
marked
have.
exhibit T15.
Yes. Chair, you did make a
Yeah,
ruling to that effect, but for
Yes.
completeness sake, yes.
yeah, okay, all right.
Chair, then the witness, can I request that the witness be sworn in
Yes,
before we?
yeah, please administer the oath or affirmation. I see the lighting is taking long to arrive.
Apparently, Chair, it will be set up during tea time. Unless the chair would want us to adjourn now, it's 11 o'clock.
Well, if it is ready, we could adjourn now so that it's sorted out, if they are here and it's ready.
And then we can come back at quarter
past. I
past
think
11.
They want to tell you something.
No, then I'm advised that the best is to proceed as we're proceeding.
Yeah.
So that they can take the 15 minutes
Yeah.
between now and tea
Okay, all
adjournment
right.
to set themselves up.
Okay, all right. Okay, administer the oath or affirmation.
Please state your full names for the record.
Charl le Roux.
Do you have any objection to taking the prescribed oath?
No.
Do you consider the oath to be binding on your conscience?
Yes.
Do you swear that the evidence will give would be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing else but the truth? If so, please raise your right hand and say, "So help me God."
Yes. So help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Mr. Le Roux, is it correct you were contacted by the investigators of the commission? The investigators of the commission at some stage talked to you.
Yes.
As a result of the interview, you made a statement,
Yes.
and you have the statement in front of you.
Yes.
Chair, the statement is T13. It's exhibit
Yes,
T13.
it has been admitted already, his affidavit.
Can you then go through and read this statement for the commission?
No, he mustn't read the statement. Ask him to tell the story. I think he was employed by his cousin or somebody, Mr. Van Billion.
Mr. Van Billion, how did you?
Yeah,
Mr. Van Billion, the background, or how did you get to be involved in this?
Yes. Yes. I work for.
Mr. Le Roux, he will ask you questions most of the time, but when you give an answer, face me.
Okay. Mr.
Yes, okay. Were you employed at some stage by a company that was owned by Mr. Van Billion?
Yes. Yes.
What was the name of the company?
SAN Electrical.
SAN Electrical.
Electrical. Yes.
He gives in his affidavit a full name for SAN as Samina or something.
Yes. Yes. That's it. We just use the shorter version, Mr. Chairperson.
Yes. From when up to when were you employed by that company?
It was from mid 2014 until last year.
Until last year?
Yes, it's middle of last year.
Yeah. What was your position in his company?
I was learning to become an electrician.
Are you a qualified electrician?
No, not yet.
Yes. But you know, you are able to do some electrical work.
Yes.
Yes, and that's what you were assisting him with.
Yes.
Okay, take it from there, Mr. Nosha.
And then did you then do some work on then the instructions of Mr. Van Billion?
Yes.
And as you must have heard during the interaction with the chairperson, that we want to stay away from giving the full addresses of the work we did. Is it correct that yesterday, you, together with the investigators, the legal team for the commission, and
I'm sorry, Mr. Nosha, before you come to yesterday, I would like to hear him talk about what he did at the address that we are not mentioning
No.
at that time before you come to yesterday.
Chair, with your leave, I just wanted to confirm we went to a place
Yeah.
where he did some work.
Yes.
And then we go back to.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
We visited a house in Krugersdorp.
Yes.
And that house we visited, did you do any work on the house?
Yes, we did some work.
Can you tell the chairperson about the work you did?
Yes, I can. We fixed some lights there, outside lights on the staircase, and the water feature, and the power system wouldn't the backup power system wouldn't start, and we fixed that as well.
And what was wrong with what you had fixed? What you were fixing? Before you went there, what did you find wrong with the issues you had to fix?
The automatic changeover wouldn't work on the backup system, and we fixed that. And then the outside light, it wasn't working, any of them, so we took them out and put new ones in.
Now, can you just tell the commission, when you went there for the first time, did you make any observations when you entered the house, the premises?
Yes, there was, I could see they had high fencing there, and there was guardhouse there with the man there that opened for us when we came there.
Now, just stop the guardhouse. When you entered the premises, on which side is the guardhouse?
On the left side of the
Yes. You entered the premises, any other thing you noticed?
Yes, is when we worked there, I noticed there was an expensive car there, an Aston Martin.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I noticed there was an expensive car there, an Aston Martin.
Is that in the name of the car?
Yes, Aston Martin.
Yes. Where was the
It's a-
car?
It was in the middle garage door.
Was it standing there on its own, and how was it it standing there? How was it parked?
It was covered with a special car cover. So I just lifted it and looked because I like cars.
Did you go to that house once or more than once prior to yesterday?
I'm not sure, it was many times.
Yes, okay. Now, as far as possible, I want you to give me your evidence from your recollection, but your statement, your affidavit is there in case you want to refresh your memory. Are you able to remember what you went to do on the first occasion you went there?
On the first time, we just,
And you can look at your affidavit to refresh your memory, and Mr. Noche can assist you in terms of
Yeah.
in which paragraph that is dealt with if necessary.
If you
So
look
I want you to tell me, on the first occasion I went there, this is what was wrong. I'd been instructed to do A, B, C, D. I went there, I did it, or I didn't do it for whatever reason. On the next occasion, again, you might not need to deal with all of them, but at least some of them.
yes,
Yeah.
I can do that. Yes, on the first morning, I met there with Mr. Le Roux, and then he showed us that the backup power system doesn't work. So we then had a look at it, but then I left, and Mr. Van Bouillon, he went back and he fixed it.
Tell me, do you remember when, what year, what month, what date was that?
I'm not 100% sure.
I see.
But would you remember the year? Would you remember the year, even if you don't remember the month or the date?
From
you can-
2014, it was just when I started working about it.
Yes, okay.
And then on another occasion, you
And
say you
then-
left then, Mr. Van Bilon went back and then?
Yes, then I went there the next time. They said the outside light on the walkway to the house doesn't work. It was the lights on the staircase. And the lights were old, they're no longer working, so we took them out and put new lights in
Inside the house or outside the house?
outside the house.
I see. What year was this? You remember?
Also that I'm saying here.
And then the next occasion?
It was in that same week, we were there to fix there's the small water feature there. It wasn't working. We pumped out all the water so we could put the new the pump in there. And then there was light on the outside entertainment area that we fixed downlights in the ceiling.
Now, before you talk about the third occasion or one of the occasions, another one of the occasions when you went there, can you just go back to describing some of the features of the premises at that house or at that address that you had seen and you had included in your affidavit? So I'm leaving out what you may have seen yesterday. Mr. Noche will come to that in due course. What you did recall before yesterday when you deposed to your affidavit to say, this is what you remembered about the house. Did you remember the guardhouse?
Yes, guardhouse. There was one guard there. He
Yes.
was always there. He opened for us.
Or was it the same person? When you went
not
there,
sure.
was it the same guard?
Yes, it was.
Yes. I'm going to jump to yesterday just for now. Did you find the same person yesterday or it was different?
I don't remember because
Yeah.
it's been a
It's
long
been
time.
a long time, okay. So you don't know whether it was the same guy or not?
No.
Okay.
I don't know.
So the guardhouse, where in relation to the gate is the guardhouse as you remember it from that time, leaving out the fact that you saw it yesterday?
It's when you walk into the main gate, it's on the left-hand side.
It's on the left-hand side.
Yes.
What other features of the house did you remember before yesterday, which you included in your affidavit?
I just know it was a big house and the pool was there. And yes,
Yes,
and the generator that we worked on,
yes.
it was behind the house.
It was behind the house,
Yes.
the generator.
Yes.
Yes,
And it had a small board that switches it on and off. It was inside next to an open garage.
yes. And on one of the occasions, your affidavit says you were working there and you were in the garage and you saw something. Tell me about that.
Yes, I worked there and I saw what looked like to be an expensive car. And then I looked and I saw it was an Aston Martin standing.
Yes. And what was the color of the Aston Martin that you saw on that day, those 2015 or 2014?
It was long. It was too long ago to remember exactly.
Yes.
But I know that it's white. Yes.
Yes. Well, in your affidavit, you say it was dark or dark blue or black.
Yes. Yes.
Is that correct?
Um,
That's what you say in your affidavit. Does that
Yes, yes, that
remind
is-
you of how it looked like?
Yes,
What the
yes,
color
yes.
was? Okay, all right. Mr. Nosha, take it from there.
Chair, I see the time is
Oh.
10:15.
Yes, let's take this. Will the ordinary 15 minutes be enough? Or if it's not enough, I will be told. So we'll adjourn until 11:30, but if they are not done sorting out the light, then I'll be told.
We'll send a message.
Yes, we adjourn.
Thank you.
convinced you that the car you saw yesterday was the same car you saw in 2014 or 2015? Or could it be that the car you saw yesterday is a different car from the one that you saw in 2014 or 2015?
Yes, it might be different car, yes.
You are not sure?
I'm not sure now.
Yes. But what you are sure about is that the car you had seen was an Aston Martin?
Yes, that I'm sure of.
Yes. Mr. Nosha?
Just on that, Mr. Le Roux, how much time did you have and how long did it take you to look at the car? Did you open the cover, spend some time looking at it, or you just lifted and closed and dropped the cover?
I just lifted it and looked, and then I closed it again.
Yes. Okay.
And at the time, sorry, Chair, Chair, sir, I must just apologize because of the distance now and again.
No, I
My
understand.
junior has to run back and
Yes.
forth. Yeah, we
No,
apologize for this.
I understand it's because of the social distancing.
Yes.
So I understand it, it's okay, it's okay.
And it's good for her for exercising.
Well, she might not like your suggestion that she needs exercise.
That's the issue I was with Mr. Le Roux is, you say you just lifted this and then closed it again.
Yes, I did.
I see. Now, tell me, when you went there, when you looked at the car, would you look at it with the purpose of observing it so that you can report about the color of the car and the car, or you just looking at it for interest sake?
No, I just looked at it just to see.
Now, there's another point you raised in your statement. Now, how did you get to the premises? How would you get to the premises? When you get to the premises, outside the premises, how do you get in?
There's a man that works there in the car that we opens for us.
How would you communicate with him to open for you?
I would just look.
And then you would open.
Then he would open.
On the occasions you were there, did you ask you why you were there, what you were doing, what were you looking for?
No. He just let us in and we would do what.
You would hoot and then you would open for you.
Yes.
You would go in and do the work.
Yes.
Tell me, the vehicle you're driving from Cell Electric car, did you have the marking on the side to show where it was from?
No markings, no.
So you didn't have to identify yourself to the person at the gate?
No, I don't.
Well, excuse me, a guard at the gate is supposed to allow family members in, and if it's people who are not family members, you would have, or she would have to check that the person is authorized to come into the premises, I think. How could the guard, do you know why the guard would just open for you without asking?
He recognized my my car, and he would open for us because in the past working.
Okay, no, I can't hear that. Please just repeat what you said.
I think that he would open for us because he would recognize my car, as I had worked there on other days and he was there as well.
Let's talk about the first occasion you went there. Did you go there alone?
No, I went there and then Richard was there as well.
Mr. Richard Le Roux.
Yes.
Did he arrive at the premises first, so that when you arrived, he was already inside?
Yes, that's it.
What happened before you entered? Did you hoot on that day? Did you not hoot, or what happened? Tell me about that.
No, it was open, and then I saw them standing inside of the main gate.
Mr. Richard le Roux was standing on the inside
Yes.
of the gate. So he would have spoken to the guard to say
I can
he
get.
must let you in.
Yes.
But you say as you approached the gate was already opened, or it opened as you were approaching?
It was open.
Yes, but Mr. le Roux was there and the guard was there,
Yes.
and then you just went in.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, on the subsequent occasion, when you came after that, without Mr. le Roux being there, because I take it there were occasions when you came without Mr. le Roux, is that right?
Yes, there were.
Do you remember whether the second occasion you went to the premises, Mr. le Roux was there or not? Or you can't remember?
I'm not sure now.
Yes, but when you came after that first occasion, without Mr. le Roux being there, did the guard just open to you after identifying your car?
Yes, he did.
Did you always go there in the same car?
Yes, I did.
Yes, okay, Mr. Nosh.
Thank you, Judge. Now, Mr. le Roux, can we also deal with something here? And on T13, paragraph, page 205, that is his statement, page 16, paragraph 16, you say I'm reading from your statement.
I'm sorry, where?
On T13, CR05, Chairperson, page, paragraph 16 of the witness's statement.
His affidavit.
His
paragraph
affidavit,
16. Yeah,
yes.
okay.
You say there, on an occasion during about 2017 or 2018, I was again contacted by Mr. Van Billion to go to premises situated in Blowback Street, where I was to meet Mr. le Roux. Now, during your evidence this morning, you said you first went there in 2014. Can you explain this?
Yes, it might have been after the initial visit for some extra work.
Beg your pardon?
These in my affidavit, it was after we went there for the first time.
So the first time was 2014?
Yes.
And thereafter you went in 2017 and 2018?
Yes.
Now, whilst we are on your affidavit, can you, before you go there, you were, is it correct that after you had spoken to the investigators, you were then shown some pictures, photos, you've shown some photos?
Yes.
Can you turn to page 12 of your, it's called CR2, and it's on page 12, Chairperson.
Yes.
There's a picture there of, were you shown that picture?
Yes, I was.
Chairperson, can I just pause here just to explain this? These were taken by and shown to the witness by Mr. Groenewald. We have his statement, but he's also physically indisposed. But after this witness, I would want to discuss Mr. Groenewald's statement with you. Right. Tell me, what is depicted on the picture, on the photo?
It's the house that we worked at.
Now, on the photo, we see the CR12. We see there's something like a gate. What is the wooden gate, that gate we see?
Yes, on the left hand there.
And then we see a roof. As you look at it, near the gate, what roof is that doing?
That roof there behind that gate is the guard room.
Now, if you go, can you go to CR 14? What is depicted on that picture?
It's also that gate and that guard room.
In the
Guard room
guard room?
and the gate, yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Noshe. Why does it look like these annexures are not marked? You see, there is I see there is annexure CLR2, but it's much better if on the actual photograph there is also, it's marked. Otherwise, while you are looking at the paragraph and you say, by the way, which annexure is this, then you have got
I see, I see.
to go back
Yes.
a few pages. Okay, but it's annexure CLR2 and annexure CLR3.
Yes.
Okay, but you are dealing with CLR2, is that right? At the
I'm
moment,
dealing with, I dealt with CLR2 and then
you went to
I've
3.
moved to CLR3 now.
Okay, all right.
My children will be proud I pronounced 3 as they always correct me not to cree, it's 3. I've managed to pronounce it properly, it's 3.
No, I think there are many people who pronounce 3 differently.
Yes, yes.
Yes. What is the point that was made with reference to CLR2?
You're
It's the
saying
wooden gate?
the point is the wooden gate and the guardhouse, the roof of the guardhouse. Beyond the,
Well, now, Mr. Le Roux, did you say that before deposing to your affidavit in March, you were shown this picture?
Yes, yes,
This,
I was.
yeah. And you say the roof that one can see above the wall, the perimeter wall, is the guardhouse.
It is, yes.
But in your affidavit, as well as in the affidavit of Mr. Agrizi, if I remember correctly, both of you say that the guardhouse is to the left of the gate, isn't it? That doesn't look to me
It
to
is.
be to the left of the gate.
if I may,
It's the angle that the picture it was taken.
Well, but do you agree with me that when you look at the structure that you say is the guardhouse, that does not look to be to the left of the gate? Or are you saying that it is on the left to the
It
gate?
is on the left, yes.
Chair, can Mr. Le Roux take the chairperson to CLR3?
Yes. I have the same problem on CLR3. As I see it, it seems to me you did not turn right or left with a car, you would go and hit the structure, and that wouldn't put it to the left.
Sorry,
on
Chair,
my understanding.
I think the photographer
Yeah,
took it didn't come out clearly as, can I clarify that with the witness, with the
Yes.
next step about the visit?
yes,
The witness will confirm, and I don't want to testify from the bar, but.
yes, no, that's
from
fine.
here,
No,
it's-
you can ask him questions which will clarify
Yes.
this if possible. You know, this becomes important. I hope that the agreement that was signed also indicates which side of the gate the guardhouse is, because it
And-
is
and-
important.
Yes. Mr. Le Roux, We have seen CLR2 and CLR3, the pictures.
Yes, sir.
And you were present yesterday when we went to the house.
Yes, yes, I was.
Now, in relation to the gate, when you enter, in relation to the person entering the premises, on which side was the guardhouse yesterday?
On the left.
And whilst we were on that, can I take you, Chair, to CLR? I think now we should call this T16. We have got
Exhibit T,
we've got T13, T14, T15, and then it should be T16. That will be
T15, that is Mr. Rainier van Billion.
T15 is Mr. Van Billion.
Yeah.
Then can I take you to T16?
I don't think we have T16.
It was T13, and it was marked, Judge, it was marked CLR T13, CLR 15.
Yes, what I'm saying is I don't think there is
Can-
one that we have admitted and marked as
Not
Exhibit
yet.
T16.
No, not yet.
Okay, so what's the document you want me to go to?
It's called the memo on the inspection in local Charl le Roux.
Or what page is it?
It's on CLR 15,
15.
15.
Yes.
Is the chairperson with me?
I'm sorry, this is confusing. Okay, yeah, I've got the memo on page 15. Yes.
Now, Stephen Billion, are you on the,
Yes, yes.
Do you want us to admit this memo?
this memo as Exhibit T16? And this chairperson is ended up by agreement between the parties.
Well, it shouldn't be if it's here at the beginning, maybe we should make it what, Exhibit T12? Is there Exhibit T12 in another work stream or something?
Yes. There is,
Because
There is
I thought
already-
the memo should come at the end, the agreement of what was seen yesterday. But
Yes.
if you already have put it here in the front,
there is, chairperson, we can change that in terms of slotting it in. If the chair, with your permission, you can allow us to call it T16, and then it can be arranged that it's at the end of Mr. Charl le Roux's evidence. Chairperson, there's already T12, which is the affidavit of Richard le Roux.
yes, you suggest that we admit it as Exhibit what?
T16? T16.
Exhibit T16.
Yes.
I'll write Exhibit T16 at page 15 at the top. Okay, yes. So the memo on the inspection in loco will be admitted as Exhibit T16.
As it pleases you, Chair. Chair, the agreement was that I would read this into the record.
Yes, okay.
But with your leave, I would read it and then, but in conjunction with the evidence of the witness.
Well, maybe you can just read the whole of the memo, and then the witness can then just confirm because it's agreed. It's something that's been agreed.
Mr. Le Roux, do you have the memorandum of?
Yes, yes, I
Just can you listen carefully when I'm going to read it into the record. Just listen to carefully and then, so that you confirm or correct whatever you want to correct. Right.
Okay.
Now, the memorandum I'm reading relate to the pointing out / inspection in loco by Charl le Roux, individuals present, the witness Charl le Roux, the commission staff, Advocate Viwe Noche, Mr. Allen Nixon, Mr. Tsepo Moleko, Ms. Refilwe Molefe, and then for Mrs. Mukonyane, the representatives is Advocate L. Hodes and Mr. G. Madlanga. The pointed out by witness, it's a high fence and a guardhouse to the left side at the entrance. And the photographs obtained as annexures A. Chair, that photograph A is on page, will be on page 16.4.
Yes.
And then 2, generator situated behind the garage in a cage where the wires fed through the wall into the garage where they were connected to the control panel. And that photograph of the generator is on B, which is 16.6, Chair.
Yes.
And over the page, it's lights fitted on the, Chair, the panel referred to, you'll see the panel referred to on paragraph 3 as B. It goes over the page to 16.7 as the panel. And then over the page of the memorandum, Chair, is lights fitted to the side walls on either side of the stairs that were replaced. And on 16.9, those are the lights. And 16.10, the staircase. And then for...
Hang on 1 second. Can I take you back? I think what is that 16.6? Is that the generator?
The Chair, just bear with
I
me.
think you have left me behind.
It's 16.6, the generator.
Okay,
And then it's connected with 16.7, Chair.
yes,
Yes. Chair, if you were to go back, Chair, to 16.6, you will see next to the generator there are wires which go into the ground.
yes,
And the witness was saying those wires then connect to 16.7, the panel on 16.7.
oh, okay,
And then 16.9 are the lights that were repaired on the staircase, and 16.10 is the same staircase where the lights were repaired.
okay,
And then paragraph 4 on 16.1 is repairs on the fountain situated in the corner. The witness stated, I recall that we had to fit a small pump to the fountain in order to pump the water out, and I think I repaired some lights at it or in the fountain. That will be found at 16.12.
Yes,
Chair, can you ignore the color of the water and
yes,
its condition? And then paragraph 5, garage or place where Austin Martin vehicle covered with a trampoline was parked, and 16.14.
Yes.
And then 6 is other features. Other features just were identified or pointed out to us were there is the lights in the covered patio when we were not covered, when the work was done. The witness was we were there, chairperson, he pointed out lights in a patio and the lights were, he says, but the patio at that stage was not covered, whereas when we were there, it was covered. Yes. Chair, we'll notice also, I didn't take you to this, at 16.15. There is the lifted cover of the car showing the Austin Martin emblem. By agreement, the registration was redacted.
Yeah.
It has a registration number, but we agreed for
Yeah.
security reasons that we'll take it out.
yeah.
Mr. Le Roux, you had me reading through this. Is this correct? Is this what happened when you were there?
Yes, yes, this is.
And then is it in line with the affidavit and the evidence you gave today?
Yes.
Chairperson, that is the evidence of
Yes.
Mr. Le Roux. And
Yes. What is that page 16.17? Is that a certain light or what? And 18?
Sorry, Chair, just get, 16.17, it's what is written, it's a manuscript note of the additional observation where he says in paragraph 6 of the memo, says light in the, Chair, just bear with me. Oh, sorry. There's just, I can't read there's a word I can't read. Oh, it's ceiling. It's the ceiling light in the covered patio,
Yes,
which was not covered when the work was done.
okay,
And then you see that is that, and on 16.18 again, it's the ceiling, the lights on the ceiling. Yes.
okay, okay, okay. Now,
Mr.
Yes, continue.
Mr. Le Roux, do you confirm the content the contents of your statement?
Yes, yes, I do.
From the road, if somebody is standing on the road next to this particular residence or is passing, would they be able to tell whether the guardhouse is to the left of the gate? So somebody who has never gone into the premises, can they tell?
Yes, yes, they can.
You can see from outside
Yes,
that it is to the left of the gate.
yes, you can.
Yeah, would you know it's a guardhouse? Would somebody know that it is a guardhouse?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's nothing that can tell you from outside.
No, no.
Yes. Now, Mr. Agrizi described some of the features in his affidavit of the house. One, he said that the guardhouse is to the left of the gate. which is the same thing that you have said as well. But he mentioned other features, and I want to see whether you are able, whether you did notice those features. Mr. Grizzly says in his affidavit deposed to on the 15th of November 2019, in which he was responding, I think, to the affidavit. No, I think he was dealing with questions that had been posed by me during the hearing about features of the house, as he recalled them. He says in paragraph 41.5, I'm in a position to identify the premises. When I first visited together with the late Governor Watson, the guardhouse was a wood structure on the left as you enter the premises. This was later renovated into a permanent structure as well. When you went to the premises, was the structure a wooden structure, or was it already a guardhouse as you saw it yesterday?
It was built like it was yesterday.
It was as it was yesterday?
Yes.
It was, when you went there for the first time, it was not a wood structure?
No.
Okay. And then he says further, there are two garages, and adjacent to the two garages is a generator room. Is that
Yes.
something you did see previously and in the house, or maybe also yesterday?
Yes.
There are two garages.
I think there's more. There's 3 garages there.
There are 3 garages,
Yes.
not 2.
Yes.
Okay. And he says adjacent to the 2 garages is a generator room with an auto switch mechanism,
Yes.
which the Bosasa contractor supplied. The generator was on the outside.
Yes.
Are you able to confirm whether what he's saying is true or not?
It is. Yes.
It is true.
It is true. Yeah.
Okay. And you must tell me whether you know this or you don't know this. He says in paragraph 41.6, in order to enter the house, there are a few steps, and the first room on the right upon entering is Miss Monkonyane's study, which is adorned with ANC regalia and hats from Lesotho. Yeah, the ANC regalia and the hats from Lesotho you might or might not have noticed, I don't know. But he says the first room, he says there are a few steps when you enter the house. He says in order to enter the house, there are a few steps, and the first room on the right upon entering is Miss Mokonyane's study. Do you know anything about the steps that are there, a few steps that you have to use to get to the house, into the house?
Yes. Is that where we put the lights on that
Yes.
steps?
Yes. And he says the first room on the right, after you have entered the house, is Miss Mokonyane's study. Now, you might or might not know whether that room is a study or not. But there is a room that you see on the right-hand side as you enter the house?
I've never worked inside the
Inside, so you don't
house
know
yet,
that
so I
part?
don't know.
Okay. Okay.
Chair, can I
Yes.
just clarify one issue
Yes, please, yes.
before the,
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Le Roux, just explain to the chairperson about, when you say there are 3 garages, are they self-standing garages or are they, is one big structure with doors?
Yes, it's one with multiple doors, and there's that one small one next to it with the generator panel there.
Okay. You say they are not separate
Yes,
as standalone garages?
yes, yes.
Okay. Is it one garage which can take 2 cars, maybe with some divider or maybe without divider, which can take 2 cars or it can take 3 cars?
Yes, it's one big one. It can take 3 cars.
Yes. So, but it's one garage,
Yes,
but it can take 3 cars.
yes.
Yeah, so it's not 2 separate garages.
No, no.
Okay, all right.
And then,
Thank you.
and then can you just, Mr. Le Roux, can you just take the commission to, Chair, can I take you to T16, page 1614, where there's a car covered. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Is when you talk about the spaces, do you refer to something like what we see on 1614,
Yes, yes.
where there's a car parked and then there's a pillar and then there seems to be a door next to the,
Yes.
Okay, you'll just need to go through Mr. Agrizi's features that he identifies. We know that the guardhouse is confirming,
yes,
but you'll just need to see the other features that Mr. Agrizi identifies in one or more of his affidavits. See what has been confirmed by this witness, what has not been confirmed by this witness, or what has been confirmed by the agreement between the parties. And to the extent that there may be features that have not been confirmed by this witness that Mr. Agrizi talked about, Mr. Agrizi must be interviewed to, in regard to that, and to the extent that there may be a need for clarification, because he talks about 2 garages,
yes.
whether exactly what he means when he says 2 garages. He must be interviewed so that he can explain what he means by 2 garages.
Yes.
And then I think you can then approach Ms. Mokonyane's lawyers to see whether there can be any agreement whether the features that have not been confirmed by this witness, which are in Mr. Agrizi's affidavit, whether they are in a position to confirm them, or if they do not confirm them, there may be a need for another visit to confirm those, because they may be important.
Chair, as far as I can read the affidavit of Mr. Agrizi, the only issue that witness is able to confirm is the issue that the chair has dealt with. that the staircase and the generator outside, and then you touched on the issue of the garages. Other than that, the witness is unable to confirm because then Mr. Agrees go to inside the house. And then
Yes.
deals with the,
Yeah, so, but look at all Agrees' affidavits, because he might have dealt with some features in a different affidavit. He submitted 2 or 3 affidavits. You don't have to do it now, but you can do it later to identify those, so that,
Chair, in order to save our time, I'm almost done with the witness.
yeah,
Can I ask for a short adjournment?
yeah.
Short adjournment, just to run through, I'm also thinking of looking also through Mr. Richard le Roux's statement to see what the witness can confirm from Mr. Richard le Roux.
Well, when
In
I
terms of
adjourn,
the features.
when I adjourn, I want to adjourn for the day,
For the
because we
day.
don't have another witness.
Yes.
Well, your junior might have taken note of what has been confirmed by the witness and what has not been confirmed, but he has confirmed what's in the agreement. He has confirmed, I think, everything that is in his affidavit. Your affidavit, Mr. le Roux, you have looked at it again, maybe yesterday, recently, your affidavit that you signed in March. Did you look at it yesterday again to refresh your memory?
Yes, yes.
Yes. You confirm that what you said there is correct?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. With regard to the color of the car, do you want to stick to the color that you wrote as black or dark blue? Or are you saying, no, you think it was white? Or are you saying you are not sure what color it was? You thought it was black or blue, but you have seen a white one, you are not sure. But what you are sure about is that it was an Aston Martin that
Aston
you saw.
Martin, yes.
Yes. Okay, all right.
Chair, before we leave the witness, with your leave, can I refer the chair to, you'll see on page 13, T13, page CR07. And there are 2 premises referred to there, paragraph E and
I'm sorry, what page?
page 7, T13-7, okay?
7.
07,
Okay,
CLR7.
yeah.
I hope the president doesn't take offense of these lumberings with CLR.
Yes,
Chair, those 2 residents, the work was done there, but our investigations, we find that it's not relevant to your inquiry.
yes,
So I won't lead evidence on
Yeah.
those.
yeah, no, that's fine.
Yes. Chair, I've conferred with my junior. We couldn't find anything else from Agrees' evidence that can be confirmed by this witness.
Yes,
Neither also I've got Richard le Roux does not refer to features that can be confirmed by this. Only thing that Richard le Roux is to confirm the house, but
yeah,
not the features.
yeah. Well, the stairs inside the house is one of the things that Mr. Agrees talks about
Yeah.
in his affidavit. There he says I thought he said they lead up to Ms. Mukonyane's study upstairs, but I see in this affidavit he talks about the study being on the right-hand side as you enter, if I'm not mistaken. So the agreement that was signed between yourselves and Ms. Mukonyane's affidavit, does it deal with those stairs or does it not?
No, Judge, it does not.
doesn't.
It doesn't.
So
But
that-
Chair, with
So that is one of the things that must be pursued with regard to Mr. Agrees, and also to check whether there can be agreement
Yes.
from Ms. Mokonyane's lawyers that there are such stairs inside the house.
Yes, with the, we've been getting cooperation from Mrs. Mukonyane's lawyers. I'm sure there will be some discussion about that, and then we'll see
Yeah.
what cooperation we get, and then we'll see what agreement can be reached.
Yes. Now, you know, Mr. Le Roux here, in his affidavit said the Austin Martin was dark blue or black, but he has said that the one that he saw yesterday in the house is white.
Yes.
The
Chair, on that, we will, I've got information as I was on my feet. But I want to present it to you in a presentable way.
Yes.
There'll be an explanation.
Yes, there is, I don't know whether you have got here, I don't know whether it's attached to Mr. Groenewald's affidavit, but there is, the investigators did approach the Department of Transport.
Yes.
And they obtained the registration there.
Yes.
And I think there was a color given there.
Yes,
Yeah, so I thought that might resolve the issue.
yes.
Is that what you are talking about?
That's what I'm talking about. And
Yeah.
Chair, with your leave, can
Yeah.
can I deal with that issue later?
Yeah, okay.
It will then, it might explain
Yes.
the situation we have.
Yes.
The only reason I don't want to place it before you, I just want to place it in a presentable manner.
Yes.
And a complete picture regarding that.
Yes, can
There
we-
is a notice,
Yes.
notice registration.
Yes.
Which will give us the color.
Yes.
And other issues about that.
Yes. Okay, okay, we'll have to deal with that as soon as possible then.
No, we will.
Yes. Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Le Roux, for coming to give evidence. We appreciate that these are matters that happened many years ago, but we are grateful that you came to assist the commission.
No problem.
Yes, if the need arises for the commission to ask you to come back, we will ask you to come back. And then we'll take it from there. But then for the day, we are going to adjourn, or do you still have something?
Yes, I have
Or we
to.
were going to sit tomorrow and on Wednesday, isn't it?
Yes, and
On Bosasa matters,
Yes.
let's deal with that.
before we even go there, Chair, I want to deal with now, can he be excused, Mr.?
Yes, you are excused, Mr. Le Roux. You may go.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, I have in the bundle, an affidavit of Mr. Lionel Groenewald. He is part of the investigation team. The affidavit, it deals with the investigation he has done. He also deals with the evidence of the witness, just about the pictures that he saw.
Can I just say, the investigators of the commission relating to Bosasa, if one of them is here, they should not leave, because after this, I would like to see the legal team plus the investigators.
Yes, we had planned a meeting with.
Yeah, okay. After, when we adjourn, I would like to see the legal team and the investigators that deal with Bosasa shortly in these chambers here. Okay, yes.
So, Chair, we're in your hands insofar as the affidavit of Mr. Groenewald. It's merely to confirm for instance, with this witness, that he showed him the pictures that we took you through of outside the house and the guardhouse, and he also deals with his research at deeds registry, the registration of the house. And I'm not certain whether the chair would want him to give viva voce evidence or whether his affidavit can be read into the record.
Well, one, it depends if there is something, it depends if there is something, does it deal with the Inatis information?
It does not deal with the notice information. But the notice information
Well,
is,
his affidavit can be, no, I think I do remember, I think it would be better that he should come. But I think you said he's not well or something.
he's not physical, he's physically indisposed.
Yeah, no, once he's well, let's call him, it won't take long.
His evidence won't take long.
Yeah, okay. So
And also, it will also not really help, but it will demonstrate also what the confusion, what that was nearly caused by the photograph.
yes.
Because in his photograph, he took it at the right angle.
Oh, okay.
And then it will show what we saw yesterday and what the
Yes.
evidence of the witness, but it will also be in the
Yes,
photograph, yes.
Yes, okay. Okay,
Chair, for now, that is all, and then tomorrow, we had planned evidence of one witness, there were two witnesses. First, let me go back. Initially, the hearing was planned for 3 days, but we felt that the witnesses were going to be short, then we'll put them together. So today, we had planned Mr. Frolik and this witness. Tomorrow, we had planned another witness and Mr. Brian Blake for the travel agents. Seems as if we are left with
yes,
one
I think the
witness.
other witness you can mention not was Mr. Kingana, isn't it?
Yes, Mr.
Yes.
Kinana, and we are unable to proceed with him. We have arranged with him that we'll get a fresh notice of the next hearing.
Yes,
Yes. So we are left with Mr. Blake.
Yeah.
And insofar as Mr. Blake is concerned, I again spoke to the legal representatives of Ms. Mukonyane about the reference. They are not, they agree that his evidence can be led despite the references.
yes. But other people who may be implicated in Mr. Blake's affidavit or evidence, have they been given three notices?
As far as I know, they have been given, but when we meet you now in chambers, I'll confirm that, because what I did, even from Friday, I said we should go through all those invoices, make sure, and also the statement, to make sure that everyone mentioned there has got a 3-3, so that tomorrow when Mr. Blake is testified, people are not taken by surprise to hear their names mentioned when we have, but we'll confirm with you in chambers.
Yes, but you see, if notices haven't been given, then I don't want to come here only to adjourn proceedings tomorrow.
Chairperson, now, when we leave here, that is your chambers,
Yeah.
we will be certain whether we're coming or...
But I want to adjourn even tomorrow's proceedings now,
No.
if you are not ready because notices have not been given.
Can the chair just bear with me?
And Wednesday, if.
Can the chair,
because-
Wednesday, chair there are no hearings.
Yes.
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 Can the chair just bear with me for 1
Yeah,
second?
okay.
Chair, I'm advised by my junior that all notices, 3.3 notices have gone out, insofar as Mr. Brian Blake.
Yes, but going out is not enough. Has 14 days lapsed?
No, it has not lapsed.
Yeah, then
It
when.
was a short notice.
Then if you are going to call a witness without giving the implicated parties 14 days notice, there's got to be sound, good reasons. And I don't think that there would be any good reasons with regard to Mr. Blake.
Chair, I can confirm we have not even, unlike the issue of Ms. Mukonyan and the witness, where we obtained consent of the other side. With the Brian Blake, with Mr. Blake's one, we have not obtained consent.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
were unable to. So
Yes. Okay, so what you need to do for all the witnesses who will be coming, check that notices have been issued on time, check that by the time the witness comes, a period of 14 days will have
Lapsed.
lapsed. And if you seek to lead the witness, even though the 14 days has not lapsed, you would need to apply for condonation. Obviously, there must be good cause. The application for condonation, I think I've said that in certain circumstances, it doesn't have to be substantive. But I need to be told what the reasons are. But as far as possible, the idea should be to make sure that the commission observes the 14-day period.
I understand.
And when there are good reasons, that's different to lead the witness before the expiry of 14 days, then I will listen to what the reasons are and then take it from there. So it's important, and don't rely completely on the secretariat about the serving of notice. So let them satisfy you that it's been done. You specify if it hasn't been done, it must be done by a certain date, and just check with them, because otherwise you might think that, well, I asked them to send it out by a certain date. I'm sure they will, but you discover one day before the hearing of that witness that actually it wasn't sent out on time.
No, I understand.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So we won't sit tomorrow.
When's tomorrow?
We won't sit on Wednesday. For the purposes of the media and the public, we will, I can announce that we will sit on Thursday, and I will hear the evidence of Mr. Makletuga on Thursday. We adjourn.